Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the First Things First podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Wolfe. Catch us Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern on FS1. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Tell us what you think and leave us a review. Time now to bring in Nick and the Hall of Famer, Cris Carter. Chiefs, Redskins, Monday Night Football last night, and how about Kansas City? Now 4-0, the only undefeated team in the league, happens to be Nick's hometown team. It's after their win last night. Rookie Kareem Hunt running for over 100 yards, while Alex Smith finished the night with 349 combined yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick, your Chiefs, are they the best team in the NFL?
That's my birthday present right there.
Happy birthday,
buddy. My hometown team, the team I grew up going to all the games, being the league's last undefeated team. Yes, the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL, primarily because through 4 weeks, they got the best player in the NFL. They have the guy who is the runaway, I think at this point, would be the unanimous league MVP, and he's a rookie. Kareem Hunt. Cece, in one of the very first shows we did, I had a stat for you about Ezekiel Elliott that you loved. That last year on first down,
yes,
he rushed for 1,100 yards.
Just on first down.
Just on first down. Here's a Kareem Hunt version of that. Kareem Hunt has more rushing yards this season in the second half than any other player in football has for the year. If Kareem Hunt only played second halves, he'd be the league's leading rusher.
And with his size, you would never think that the numbers would be like that. Maybe in the first half, and then he would wear out in the second half, but totally different.
Totally different.
And outpacing Zeke through first 4 games completely.
He's outpacing everyone ever.
Right.
He is on pace to break the all-time yards from scrimmage record. Not for rookies, for everyone.
Yes.
He is on pace to break Eric Dickerson's rookie rushing record and have a 2,000-yard season. So, I mean, that's the answer. I thought when Eric Berry went down in week 1, the Chiefs might not be able to fully recover from that. And we'll see how bad that injury plays in once you're playing more prolific passing offenses. But man, oh man, 4-0, an impressive 4-0. They've done it by blowing a team out. They've done it with a comeback. They've done it with this game was, if you fell asleep last night, this was a very close game until the very end. It was a 3-point game and then a brutal play that we'll talk about later. But this was a very good game. The Chiefs found a way to win.
A brutal play for you, not for the Chiefs.
Well, no, a brutal play for gamblers out there.
Interesting play.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a much better way to put it.
The Chiefs are very good. Last night's game was a good test because it was totally different than the other games that they've played. And what you want to see, God bless you.
Sorry, I apologize.
And what you want to see is teams that can win different ways. Kareem Hunt, not a big first half.
Nope.
Actually, if you watch the first half of the game, my number one takeaway was Washington is pretty good. Then the injury started to compile for Washington.
Oh, my goodness.
And then as you look at the Chiefs, though, what they can do. Andy Reid, how he calls the plays, screen passes, speed sweeps, running between the tackles, Kelsey down the field. Like, they are Tyreek Hill, a legitimate number 1 threat. Like, you have to put coverage. They have so much team speed, and they're hard to defend. Like, you don't know. You have to stack the box. You can't play too much man-to-man coverage. And I have a lot more faith in Andy Reid than a lot of other people because I think that Andy Reid can get it done because this is probably the best defense that Andy Reid's ever been able to combine with his offensive power. And we can't talk about the Chiefs without recognizing that a player that has gotten a lot of criticism as a game manager and other things, Alex Smith, is playing the best football of his career.
On the Alex Smith point, I just want to – there was a play yesterday that I've watched Alex Smith this whole time in Kansas City, and he doesn't make this play. There was a play, it's 20-20. The Chiefs have less than a minute left. Right there, you're seeing it. It's second down. He can run for the first down. His whole career there, he's taken the safe, easy thing. Instead, he throws it downfield to Albert Wilson. That was the game changer. That got him in field goal range. That's what allowed them to prevent overtime. Alex Smith is a good athlete. Alex Smith can run. He's one of the more mobile quarterbacks in the league. His whole career, he runs there.
Right, and they had a play just like that before halftime where he faked as if he's going to go out of bounds, cut back in bounds to give them a field goal attempt, which they didn't make, but very similar plays. And Alex Smith, his decision-making It gives Andy Reid the ability to say, you know something, I can cut it loose in the fourth quarter compared to Alex Smith before, who was definitely a game manager.
And don't forget, there's a quarterback that the Chiefs drafted that's right behind him that Andy Reid even mentioned, hey, listen, if Alex Smith wants to have a big year, go out and have a big year. We're giving you the opportunity to have it. If not, I got someone else that it's your future right behind you. And he's quietly doing exactly what he needed to do. Coming out every game, doing just enough, very confidently.
It's a lot of internal pressure.
Yeah, it is. When you have a guy behind you that they just signed.
I think it was great for him, CC. Alex Smith, this iteration of Alex Smith, post-San Francisco, like, if you think about Alex Smith in his career, when we've seen the most out of him, when he has been, I would say, taking the most chances. Because the knock on him has always been, listen, the guy's going to complete 65, 70% of his passes, but they're going to be 5 yards per attempt.
Right.
He's going to be overly cautious. We saw him have a great playoff game in New Orleans. And we saw him have, when he was with San Francisco, against New Orleans, I should say, we saw him play the best football of his life. When Colin Kaepernick was breathing down his neck. When he knew, you know what? I got nothing to lose here. We are seeing this year a bolder, if you will, version of Alex Smith, I think partially because Mahomes is there and because he knows, you know what? If I'm just my typical self this season, they're going to give him the job next year. Like, I might as well, I have nothing to lose at this point, and you're seeing with all these playmakers the best version of Alex Smith.
It's definitely, it's hard to say the most talent, you know, because when they had Dwayne Bowe, Jamal Charles, I mean, they've had some offensive talent there. But Kelsey, what he provides from the tight end position and the team speed that they have.
So fast.
I mean, it really, and Alex with his legs. So it puts so much pressure on the defense. This is exciting to see. I believe they're the best in the NFL.
It is exciting to see. Between Kelsey and Kareem Hunt, you enjoy watching this team play. And you used to be a
question for you.
Yeah.
Kelsey, I mean, he's like a wide receiver. He plays tight end.
Sure.
Do you mind his antics on the field and everything? Because sometimes...
Let me just make this very clear, and I will say this again. I don't mind antics. I had an issue with acting like a dog in the touchdown, in the end zone. I don't mind antics. If you want to fire your team up.
Listen, you're a rough and tumble pro athlete. Jenna has very delicate sensibilities.
You're not
She's our delicate flower on the show, and we need to recognize that. Jenna, I am here for you. I'm here to defend you.
I like the way Kelsey plays. I love the way Odell plays when he's just playing. Don't do anything else. Just play. You're an incredible wide receiver. I love watching you play.
Kelsey's an amazing talent.
Okay, I'm
almost got his third straight unsportsmanlike conduct penalty yesterday. He somehow got the refs to rescind it. He's got to be careful on that. He said he's going to be more mature. He hasn't really been that, but he's been a great player.
The New England Patriots, after their loss Sunday to the Panthers, are now 2-2 on the season, and there are reasons why. A big one could be that they gave up 33 points and 444 yards in that game. But Tom Brady has another reason, because 2 reasons is better than 1. Here he is talking about why they struggled.
We just didn't get the call. I mean, well, I guess they got the calls. You know, we didn't get them. Some weeks you get those calls, some weeks you don't. You know, we just didn't get them yesterday. But that's still, I mean, we're not making any excuses. We didn't get the job done offensively, defensively, special teams. I mean, we just have to collectively do a better job if we're going to, you know, win these games. From previous, that crew has called, you know, much more penalties on us than the other team. You know, so we just have to figure out how to play and tighten it up.
Cece, does Tom Brady have a legitimate gripe? Or let me ask it this way. How does it benefit him to talk about the referees after the game? What does that do?
It's totally different. It's not going to benefit him any. But I'm totally shocked because, for one, just to give a little insight, around the NFL, every team gets a scouting report of the referees. The left back judge, he calls this.
Before the game?
Yes. You get his name, you get his profession, where he lives. You get little details just so in case you have an encounter with them, you can make it more personal. And, I mean, they're the league officials. Like, you should know them. But there's a scouting report because they do a game as a group. So they get rated. We get the reports. The reports are dispersed all around the league. So this is not something new. The surprising thing was New England, they normally don't give you any information to help you as far as when they do interviews. So Tom Brady, remember Belichick when they lost to Kansas City? What did he say? We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. No team is better at that.
You're talking about when they lost to Kansas City a few years ago.
Yes.
The year they won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yep.
So Tom Brady, they lose on Sunday. They play a Thursday game. He goes on his normal appearance on Monday. He's not moved on to Tampa Bay. He's still talking about Sunday. And the truth of it is, Tom, you guys get called for a lot of pass interference. Yes, that crew does call more things on you if you know that going into the game. But the way they run their offense, all right, there's two things. They have a lot of small receivers. So why do they get called for pass interference a lot? The number one reason is they set a lot of picks, all right? They know these guys can't get off based on their athletic ability, so they've devised a system that they can run a lot of picks. So out of the last 5 out of the last 6 years, they're in the top half of the NFL as far as pass interference. So he shouldn't be surprised by that. And Gronk is not a really skillful, great player. He is a physical talent who has great hands. Now, he has a mismatch against linebackers and against safeties, and he's playing against one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Gronk has been running over people his whole career. I mean, Gronk is not nifty in and out of his breaks. No. I mean, he don't have no fancy footwork. Now, but he can run. He's got good straight line speed. He's a massive target, and he's got amazing hands. So getting Gronk called for a bunch of pass interference, he shouldn't be surprised by that. I'm totally shocked that Tom gave us insight into they're still thinking about that loss at home and blaming it on the referees compared to we didn't play that good. By the way, Tom, too, your defense didn't cover them twice and gave them 14 points.
But other than that,
I don't think that's the ref's fault there.
Here's what I would say to Tom Brady or any Patriot fans complaining about the refs. Well. Nobody wants to hear this from y'all.
No.
Have some self-awareness, Brady. Nobody wants to hear the Tuck Rule Patriots, the Julian Edelman catch in the Super Bowl Patriots, the Patriots who we watched a couple weeks ago against New Orleans. Tom Brady throws a terrible pick and immediately demands the refs. Now, he was right on this, but the refs hadn't thrown a flag for 12 men on the field. Brady was like, you guys know me. I'm Tom Brady. Would I ever throw that pick if there weren't 12 men on the field? Throw your flag. Refs were like, it's probably a good point. Throw the flag. Tom Brady, who in the same game throws a touchdown pass on a pick play. The refs flag it. Tom Brady goes over to their huddle like he's the seventh official. Like, guys, what we did was legal. You know how it's legal?
Here,
because I'm Tom Brady,
and I
need you to pick up that flag. And they said, okay, we'll pick up flag. Tom Brady, who unlike any other quarterback, more so than any other quarterback in the league, can hoot with his head, induce offsides, and know it's fine because it's Tom Brady. And the Patriots, who going into this game had been called for 20 penalties while their opponents had been called for 30 penalties. Give me a break, Brady.
But you see the irony here? We just kill the Patriots because of how little they give us, right? Belichick says nothing, and Brady says nothing, and the organization says nothing, and they're moving on, they're moving on, they're moving on. No, who?
Yeah, no, that's a straw man.
I love it. No. I'm just saying, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great that he did this. I think any insight into what they do, good or bad or complaining or anything, is great. It's a conversation piece. We get to see that they're human. They're not really
whining.
Okay, maybe, it is whining. It is whining. But we have a little insight into the fact that they don't always look ahead.
Whine. Not only after the game, he whines during the game.
I agree with you.
But, Jenna, the problem is this is not what they do. Now, say, for instance, if they were 4-0 and they got called for a pass interference, they wouldn't be talking about this. They'd be like, oh, we're on. You can't even ask them a question about last week's game.
Cece, you know why Tom Brady's talking about this? Because he can't talk about the real problems, which is the defense. If the offense was struggling, you could talk about it, because that's on him. When Brady's got a 10 touchdown, 0 interception, TD interception ratio, it ain't on him. It's on the defense. And you pointed out something amazing yesterday. One of those free plays, essentially, the Panthers had with a free touchdown that Stephon Gilmore blew this coverage in 2 spots. Can you explain it? Because I don't think people notice this. This is one of the reasons they lost the game.
Well, Stephon Gilmore was supposed to go with him in motion, with the motion guy, all right? They put McCaffrey on the outside. He's the number 1. Devin McCourty, he's a veteran. He's already all-pro. He knows the Patriot system. He is the signal caller. Gilmore screws him up because he doesn't go in motion. So McCourty goes in motion with him, and then Gilmore follows him. So which leaves 2 guys open, and they happen to be calling the perfect play against a blown coverage, a screen pass right back in that area. So that's not the ref's fault, Tom Brady. That's your guys right there.
So in that spot, when 2 guys are open, Dixon and the guy who caught it, Fozzie Whitaker, Stephon Gilmore basically blew 2 guys' assignments in the same play.
Well, the miscommunication, Devin McCourty tried to cover up for him, which in turn, if Devin McCourty had gone in motion and Stephon Gilmore had just faded back and played the third, he still would have been there. They would have had an extra defender over there. But the confusion made him panic. So Stephon Gilmore, this huge contract that they signed him for, coming over from Buffalo, he's not paying dividends for him. So they got bigger problems than worrying about pass interference in New England.
And it's another thing Brady can't say on the radio. Listen, our problems are we signed Stephon Gilmore. He hasn't played well. We traded a draft pick away for Coney Ealy. We cut him, and he had a sack or he had an interception for the Jets this week. Chandler Jones has been pretty damn good. We got rid of him. Like, can't say those things.
No.
Said he's blaming Jerome Boger. What Jerome Boger ever do to you, Brady?
The Rams improved to 3-1, beating the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. Los Angeles has been one of the surprise teams in the NFL, leading the league with more than 35 points per game. Jared Goff making last year's naysayers look just silly, throwing 7 touchdowns to just 1 interception this season. However, running back Todd Gurley said he doesn't want to rest on early success.
We've been here last year at 3-1, and, we only won 1 game after that, so we got to keep that in mind as well. So, we definitely got to just keep moving forward and just get better every week. Don't get complacent.
So, you see, why is this year's team better or different than last year's 3-1 team at this point?
Well, I don't think they're going to be complacent. Last year, they had a multiple criticism of the team. Jared Goff, is he really going to be a franchise guy? Frail, don't have a big arm. Will he ever live up to the hype? Todd Gurley, it was as if he forgot to play football. Even just some of the comments surrounding the team, Just Fisher, the Eric Dickerson controversy. No people going to the game their first year in L.A. But the reason why I think they've turned it around because someone listened to Todd Gurley. And last year, Todd Gurley said this was a middle school offense. So I give credit to the ownership and going out and shining Sean McVay because this is what he's able to do. Not only can they run the ball now, but big plays. Right here, they run a speed sweep, fake to Austin. They find Gurley up the seam. This might seem a little familiar, like a play that we've seen, because there's other teams that have run this play. Let's go week number 1, Thursday Night Football, Kansas City. Alex Smith drops back after faking the speed sweep, sends Kareem Hunt up the numbers. Week number 2, Tom Brady. It's good enough for them? Well, we're going to still throwing it to James White. So Sean McVay, the head coach, 31 years old.
Amazing.
Hey, forget
it's
about
the same play.
Why call new plays? All right, find other plays that other people can do. They got great talent offensively, and they give Jared Goff a good look. Other teams can do it. Man, let me put my guys in situations where they can win. And it all started from week number 1. All right, it's a copycat league. All right, you see people have success. Can you duplicate that if you have similar personnel? And that's what the Rams have been able to do. Not only their running game and their offensive line revamp, their ability to create big plays down the field with a look that they've seen from a couple different teams. So to me, it lets you know that the head coach, all right, he's not coaching out of a small box. He's willing to look at different ideas, different concepts, and take them and add them to. He did a great job with Washington and their offense the last couple years. Now transferring that firepower over to L.A. It's exciting to see.
First of all, amazing find by you. Like, I could watch that game 1,000 times. I'm not going to see that. So, that's a great job by you. What I was looking at once you put those 3 up against each other, was the Rams' schedule. Because I just wanted to see if they played the Patriots or the Chiefs later this year. Maybe some advanced scouting. You're looking at the film. Oh, this is interesting. No, they don't play either one of those teams. So, for some reason, Sean McVay, when he's got all this stuff to do, is still the two teams that had run it is not on their schedule.
Right.
Not in their conference. Like, not teams they're worried about. And he took it from them. Said, oh, we've got a guy. The Chiefs ran the misdirection with Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
The Patriots did it with James White, was it? I think.
No, James White was the
James
receiver.
White caught it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
The Patriots ran the misdirection with a different player. And then, so we're like, okay, we have Tavon Austin.
Yes.
He can play that role. And then Todd Gurley. And that is, while you have rightfully been giving Sean McVay a ton of credit, I do want to spend a moment on Todd Gurley. Because Todd Gurley was a stud at Georgia. He then hurts his knee. I was a little worried if that was going to change his NFL prospects.
Right.
Hasn't much. His rookie year, he was great. His second year was a bad year for everyone. He's talking about a middle school offense. This year, if it's not for Kareem Hunt, we're talking about the all-purpose back Todd Gurley. Kareem Hunt's at an insane 165 yards from scrimmage. Third place on the list, Dalvin Cook, who's now injured, is at 111. Todd Gurley's at 149. 149 yards from scrimmage. So that means if he plays all 16 games, he'd have 2,384 yards from scrimmage this year. That's not the NFL record, but it's damn near close. It's about 150 shy of the NFL record. He's doing what made Le'Veon Bell want to be, pay me like a number 1 running back and a number 2 wide receiver. Because right now, he is their leading receiver and their leading running back.
And this is one of the reasons why we argue with Dak and Zeke in Dallas. Okay, who's more important? Well, who's more important now? Gurley or Jared Goff? Well, you'll say, well, Dak makes more plays than Goff. Well, the running game, like Zeke, opens it up so the quarterback to make the game a lot simpler.
Goff is, because we'd seen it from Gurley in the NFL before, Goff to me is more of a testament to your guy McVay. Goff having the 3rd best passer rating in the league, the Rams being the highest scoring offense in the league, that is a testament to what Sean McVay has been able to do. That Jeff, and I understand he's a year older and rookies it's tough, but people thought coming into this year that that was a blown pick by Los Angeles and Jared Goff. And now he looks like the 1-1 overall player he was.
And don't forget the other players they've added. They have Tavon Austin there. They had Gurley there. But they also added Robert Woods coming back to L.A., played his college ball at USC. And Sammy Watkins, who I still believe can be a star in the NFL. A lot of explosive players that McVay is implementing a lot of different ways.
And this little guy, Cooper Kupp, who at Eastern Washington had like 7,000 yards receiving or something.
It feels like a young team, and that starts at the top. Goff is having a great year. Check out this picture. Odell Beckham posted this of his bent finger on Instagram with the caption, I give this game everything I got, ain't no way around it. CC, explain this to me. I don't understand athletes posting pictures of their own injuries. Explain that. What's the reason for it?
I think it's a great picture.
Great picture, no doubt.
It speaks to, he did have a significant injury during the game. He went on to play after that. We've had other guys that it happens more often than people think. But Odell is doing everything that he can. I know that people, just like J.J. Watt, he gets criticized when he's doing his workouts and other things. People really wonder, is it authentic? And Odell, if he posts this picture, he posts his pictures doing a lot of different things. So I'm not surprised he would post this picture. I have no problem with it.
And on the sideline, so after that happens, that dislocation, they go to the sideline. Can you, without actually breaking my hand, so they are holding his thumb and then just yanking this?
Well, they have to set this because this has been displaced. So they have to try to set it.
The bone?
Yes, they have to set it without any type of medicine or numbing agent. They have to set it to get it right. That part is very, very painful.
He wasn't, but his hands were supposed to be stronger. And I say that because I watched him this offseason. In fact, I videoed something this offseason of you showing, you had him do a specific drill to prevent these types of injuries.
Yeah, they help prevent it, but they help you recover. If he hadn't been doing these injuries, he wouldn't have been able to come back into the game. And his recovery process this week, it's the Jerry Rice drill. Jerry Rice's dad, his summer job was throwing bricks down from a building, and Jerry couldn't drop any of them. So
Jerry's dad was throwing bricks at his son?
He was throwing bricks. That was his job.
But his son didn't have to be beneath him.
It's called the summer job.
Okay,
all right, it's called spending time with your dad.
All right, sorry, apologies.
All right, so I've incorporated it in the workouts. Okay. Odell does it, all right? But it gives him the ability that his hands will be stronger and you can recover from them. He'll be a lot better than most players in week number 2.
Jenna, your thoughts? Go ahead, Jenna.
Love Odell. Tough guy. And I love those videos that you posted with him. Believe me, I appreciate every last ounce of anything anyone does in a gym. And I love this guy. Like, that's what's getting lost in all this. He's so fun to watch.
I feel there's a big Nicki Minaj-sized butt coming.
No, some people might interpret a little of the the moving his feet up and down and the little. It's a little bit dramatic. I thought it was a little dramatic,
Jenna.
but it's the same way I thought J.J. Watt was a little dramatic when he spent post-game press conference talking about his thumb or his finger.
What position does Odell play?
I know he's a wide receiver, but you guys always say, you tell me, you say it all the time. If you're healthy enough to be on that field, I don't want to hear about injuries. You are considered just like everybody else.
But I don't think that's Chris's point. What's your point about the wide receiver?
We're divas.
Of course.
We're extra.
Oh, so the answer is we're divas. If that's the answer, then tell me.
Yeah, no, we've been telling you. You won't accept it.
That's and the other answer is this.
Yeah.
Like, some people like attention. Like, I'm one of those people. I mean, I talk on television for a living. Like, how can I ever judge anyone that has like a look at me thing? I have like as much of a look at me job as exists. Odell, and here's the other thing. I imagine it was really painful.
Oh, no doubt it was painful. I just don't see, I know it's a different position. I just don't see, like Lawrence Taylor jumping up and down with his little feet if you pulled his finger out.
That aside
and again, this is coming from someone who played high school volleyball, so I know it's
the aside you threw in there. I know it's a different position. You, to quote your favorite show, you yada yada the sex. Like you can't ignore,
never yada yada.
You can't ignore the most important part of it. Wide receivers are allowed to do this type of stuff, and they've been brought up doing these types of things, correct? Like, of course, Lawrence Taylor, Mark Schlereth's not doing that. Mark Schlereth's saying cut the finger off, but he's a big, literally stinky offensive lineman.
Okay.
Like, not one of the faces
Larry
of the
Fitzgerald, tough guy. I'd like to see him do it.
Larry wouldn't have done that.
Why?
But Larry's just different. He's not a diva. But for a person who posts a lot of videos, seems like you're a little upset about a guy posting a picture.
Check Jenna's Instagram. 19 videos posted this week doing upside-down handstands.
I've done these.
And I get told off, why didn't you watch my video?
I
was like, I was asleep.
It's all true.
That is a fair point and a valid point. I have that. LaVar Ball will reportedly pull his youngest son, LaMelo, out of high school and homeschool him for the next 2 years. Why? Because LaVar reportedly had issues with the high school coach and, quote, wanted no distractions for Melo. Cece, what are your thoughts on this?
I just believe the high school experience, especially for the athlete, is a very, very special time. I know there are extenuating circumstances. We've seen kids go to multiple high schools for a number of different reasons. But to say that because of the coach, because of the system that they're running, I don't think it's the best thing for the kid. I think this is important for young people to be able to grow, be in different situations, have different teachers that teach different styles, have different cultures.
And
all right?
people around you.
You learn so much. All your friends are at school. So I know they're going to probably do something to be able to help his basketball. But besides being around the kids, I don't believe in the dad as a basketball coach. All right? Now, if he's going to drive the kid to practice and everything, I don't believe he's that good at basketball. Like, I don't believe he knows that much about basketball. I've watched too many tapes of him coaching his AAU team. So many things and how he coaches I don't agree with. So
And you come from a basketball coaching family.
Well, my brother played in the NBA. My brother was a high school coach. My brother was a college coach. My brother was an NBA coach. My brother was an NBA head coach. And I've been taught basketball a certain way. Brother played at Indiana under Bobby Knight. Also played under Hubie Brown and a lot of other great coaches. So it's not that I feel like I'm more qualified, but I know good coaches and I know the influence that parents and the hard time they have when being a parent and also trying to coach.
And you also know how hard it is, even if you're an elite player, and LaVar isn't that, but LaVar was a good basketball player in his own right, better than the average American. I mean, he played college basketball.
Yeah, you're one of the few people on TV who could say that. Like,
well, listen.
I don't think he was a good player, but go ahead.
He was good compared to the average father. The average American doesn't play college basketball, but you know what it's like to have an elite athlete son he doesn't necessarily want to learn everything from you, even if he could.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I mean, your son plays pro football in Canada, but like he had coaches that weren't Cris Carter. Like you might help him with things, you might have trained him on some
I
things.
called him this weekend. He told me, Dad, I know.
Yeah.
He ran a post on a guy. He didn't stick it outside. Right. All right. He didn't give the quarterback a good angle, and the quarterback underthrew him, and he didn't high point the ball. Right. And I went through all that, and he was like, Dad, I know.
What about the social aspect, the social component? What about the educational component about all this? What about the psychological component of all this? Unless this guy is a surefire, and even then I would have my issues. Unless there is no doubt in your mind, as a basketball guy, and your mind, coming from a basketball family, that this guy is going straight to the NBA, I have many
It still wouldn't be the best thing for him.
Putting every egg in this basket.
You bring up so many important issues. Now, I do want to say, homeschooling, I think, feel like when I was growing up, like homeschooled kids and almost got a bad rap. I know a bunch of young people.
No, I believe in homeschooling.
Like you can get a good education being homeschooled.
Yes.
You can. I don't think it's as out of the ordinary as it once was, but it is. It is a lot harder. You don't have the infrastructure built in that the high school does. I also, while my son's not the athlete yours is, my son's playing college basketball. He'll never be a pro. I'm sorry, son, if you're watching, but he's not that type of player. But he will have these high school and college experiences with his teammates forever. Let's not forget the fact that we don't know if LaMelo is going to be eligible for college basketball because of the shoe deal his father gave him. Let's also not forget the fact that while LaMelo is an outstanding player, Rivals has him as the 17th best prospect in his class.
And what does 17 mean?
It means you are more likely than not never going to play in the NBA. If you are outside of the Rivals' top 10, historically, if you are somewhere between 10 and 20, you have about a 25% chance of ever playing a single NBA minute. You have almost a 0% chance of being a one-and-done player. So if it's 2 years not playing high school basketball or not going to a high school, if he doesn't have eligibility for UCLA, then do you go overseas for multiple years?
You Kobe it. I don't
what
think
do
you
you do? Like, it's just, LaMelo is, where I feel badly here is it feels to me like LaMelo is a supporting actor in the movie of his own life. And that's not, I hope it works out for him. Even if you, and by the way, America, even if you don't like LaVar Ball, don't hold it against the kid. I know the kid took 1 million shots in a high school game. I know he's got some bad AAU tape that you feel like, I wouldn't like playing with him. He's a child. Like, don't hold it against him. I hope he is the #1 pick of his draft. I hope he has a great career. I just don't know if his dad's helping him. And, like, that's your #1 job as a dad. Like, help your kids succeed.
Thank you for listening to the First Things First podcast. Remember, leave us a review and tell us what you think. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and catch us on FS1 Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern. For Cris Carter and Nick Wright, I'm Jenna Wolfe. So long, everybody.